I really hope that Sony is done with these Spider-Man spinoffs that they've been making. Nobody wanted Kraven the Hunter in his own movie. Nobody wanted that. No, not one person. And this kind of proves it. Nobody went out to watch this movie. It's not in a good place right now. And it's not the only movie that performed badly this weekend. Lord of the Rings also set a new record. War of the Rohirrim is their lowest performing movie in a Lord of the Rings anything ever. In America, it made like $5 million. Spoiler. Internationally, brought a little bit more. I think it's at about $11 million. We'll get into the actual numbers. Kraven, though, this movie, I think, is at like $26 million with international. Domestically, about $11 million, I believe. I'll give you the exact numbers in a minute. This movie performed worse than Madam Web, which should tell you something. Because Madam Web is an awful movie. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. But the difference between this movie and Madam Web is I think Madam Web will actually kind of gain a cult status because it's so bad that in some cases it's kind of good. Like at the end, the bad guy getting killed by that Pepsi machine, that was pretty funny. So here, look at this. It's even the critic, IGN hates it, it's 3. And apparently this movie examines toxic masculinity. I didn't even know this. But they did it poorly, and one of the reasons they knocked it down so low, because a 3 is pretty bad, because it botched its razor-thin examination of toxic masculinity.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
So for the rest of the Hollywood outings, Moana 2, still doing good. Wicked, still doing good. Gladiator 2, falling off. Actually, Kraven did better than that movie. So I think Gladiator 2 probably is going to fall off the list as more movies come out. Next week is the big box office weekend because Mufasa and Sonic 3 are going to go head-to-head. That's going to be an interesting box office battle. Can Sonic 3 defeat The Lion King? We'll find out. I think it probably can. I wonder how much demand there is for that live-action Lion King prequel. Did anybody really like that live-action Lion King? Which honestly really isn't even live-action because the lions are CGI, so it's a CGI remake? Anyway, here are the updated numbers with international attached to it. So Kraven, $26 million, made $15 million domestically. And together, it's $26 million. So that's where we're at with Kraven. And then we look at Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. $4 million something is what it made here. So added together, we're at $10.3 million. That's really bad. That's worse than I thought it would. I thought it would make $40 million. $10.3 million for a Lord of the Rings movie. That's bad. So, I don't know. I think there's multiple factors in this movie failing. I think one of the biggest reasons is the anime style, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but I don't think it works very well with Lord of the Rings. It's just my opinion. I think you want to go with a Western style for Lord of the Rings, but what do I know when it comes to that? To me, it just looked like a bad idea. And then, of course, Amazon's Rings of Power show. I do think that show had something to do with this because people don't keep up on this shit. They don't know who owns rights or what ties together. As far as they know, like normies think it's all one big thing. They're not paying attention. So they think Amazon's Rings of Power ties into everything. And it doesn't. And I do wonder, if that show hurt this movie. Also, the marketing. Not very good marketing for this movie. I didn't see shit for this, really. I heard about it, and that's just because I follow this stuff. If I wasn't following this stuff like I do for YouTube, I don't know if I would even really known anything about this movie because I haven't seen much advertising for this movie. And that for sure plays a factor. You can make maybe that same comparison with Kraven, but I just don't know. I don't think Kraven would have done well in any scenario because nobody's asking for this. Kraven, the most interesting thing about Kraven is that he's a good Spider-Man villain. And the key word there is Spider-Man. He's not in this. Apparently, Sony is going to quit doing Spider-Man spinoffs without Spider-Man, and then they walked that back and said they're still going to make it, which is dumb. Like, stop trying to make the Sinister Six movie. Nobody wants to see Sinister Six come together to take apart a threat. We've already seen something like that. It's called Suicide Squad. And Marvel's doing it right now. It's called Thunderbolts. These movies work because they work in an existing character. They work in an existing world where you have Captain America and Spider-Man and all these other characters running around. In these movies, they don't have that. There is no Spider-Man, and these characters aren't heroes. They weren't made to be heroes. It just doesn't work. If you're going to do a Sinister Six movie, it needs to be from their perspective then, and they need to hunt down Spider-Man throughout the movie and try to take him down. Spider-Man needs to be the movie's villain, not random government threat. Like, that'll never work. They're not the Suicide Squad. That's not what the Sinister Six is, and that's what they want to do. That was their plan all along, is to put all those characters into a Sinister Six movie, and I don't think that that's going to work anymore. So, Kraven the Hunter, wounded with $11 million box office opening, lowest ever for Sony, Marvel. What happened? Well, I just told you what happened. This movie should have never happened in the first place. Lord of the Rings sets a new record. Lord of the Rings anime sets disappointing box office record for the franchise. And what is that? Well, it's the lowest grossing Lord of the Rings movie ever. And I don't know. Well, maybe that Gollum movie will set the new one. I don't know. The Hunt for Gollum. That could actually work. It just depends. I mean, how much interest is there in a Gollum movie? I mean, I like that Andy Serkis is involved, but who knows? Gandalf the Grey and Aragorn are supposed to be in it. I don't know. We'll see how it works out, but Hollywood's got to learn, man. First off, you can't just jump on the anime trend and expect for that to be like that success to transfer to your Lord of the Rings movie. Not going to happen. And Sony needs to give up this dream of building their own version of the MCU with Spider-Man characters, because nobody wants that either. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.